The galaxy had many rules, but one rule was old and cruel. If a world becomes too weak to defend itself, leave it behind. This rule was written by the great councils, the rich empires, and the powerful alliances. And this rule was the reason planet Orion was dying in silence. Orion had once been a bright world, full of life and art and peaceful culture. Its people were not warriors, not builders of great ships, not creators of deadly machines. They believed in harmony, in soft voices, in gentle progress, but the galaxy did not reward gentle souls. When the pirate warlords came, the councils sent no help. When the storms broke the planetary shields, no alliance answered the call. When the Orion distress beacons reached the core systems, they were simply marked low priority, and when the enemy fleets entered orbit, every neighbor turned away. Orion was abandoned. The people tried to survive, but week by week their cities fell. The oceans turned dark from smoke. The skies filled with burning metal, the young hid in caves. The old prayed for mercy. Families whispered, "Why did the galaxy leave us?" No one had an answer. Then one night, deep under the shattered capital, Elder Saren gathered the last surviving leaders. Her voice was quiet but steady. "We have one final message to send," she said. "We must send it into the dark, into the unknown, to anyone who might hear." "But who will hear us now?" asked a frightened engineer. "No one in the galaxy cares," another whispered. Saren looked up at the cracked ceiling above, where fire rained from orbit. "Then we send it beyond the galaxy," she said, "to the ones the Council fears." The room fell silent. Everyone knew that name. Everyone knew the stories, the Deathworlders, the humans from the violent blue planet called Earth, a species the galaxy did not fully trust, because they were too bold, too fast, too dangerous. But they were also the only ones who answered calls no one else dared to answer. The engineer's hand shook as he activated the old long-range beacon. "Our coordinates are ready," he said. "Send the message," Saren whispered. The beacon lit up for a moment like a dying star. The message shot into deep space, into cold darkness, into the unknown. Then the power core failed with a spark. It was the last transmission Orion would ever send. Days passed with no answer. Cities continued to fall. Hope faded like smoke. The people began to believe the galaxy had finished its betrayal. But far beyond Orion, past the trade routes, past the abandoned borders, past the cold arms of the spiral galaxy, a tiny signal reached a planet of storms and steel. A planet where soldiers trained under burning suns, where ships launched like thunder, where no one ignored a cry for help. Earth heard the message. And when Earth heard a world had been abandoned, humans did not ask for permission. They did not wait for the council. They did not check the politics. They only said 6 simple words, spoken by every soldier, every captain, every Deathworlder. "Another world is in danger. We handle this." The message from Orion traveled through cold space like a weak heartbeat. Most signals this small died before reaching any receiver. Most were swallowed by cosmic dust, broken by radiation, or lost in background noise. But this one survived because of one thing the galaxy always forgot. Humans listened to everything, even the quiet cries on Earth. Inside the Deep Space Listening Hub, Operator Lena Holt was working a night shift. The screens around her showed thousands of signals. Most routine, most boring, trade beacons, weather reports, mining updates, exploration logs, nothing unusual, nothing exciting. Then a new signal blinked into existence, a faint, distorted whisper, almost too weak to read. Lena frowned and leaned forward. "What is this?" she murmured. Tapping the console, the signal repeated again. Weak but steady, a voice filled with fear, filled with desperation. "Please. Anyone, if you hear us? We are Orion. Abandoned. Attacked, No time. The message cut off, replaced by static. Lena's blood turned cold. She recognized the word Orion. Everyone did. News reports, political debates, angry broadcasts. They had all talked about Orion when the galaxy voted to leave it behind. Earth had been against that decision, but Earth had no vote in the council. Still, humanity never forgot that moment. Lena quickly flagged the signal as priority red and sent it straight to Central Command. Within minutes, alarms began to sound throughout the complex. Doors opened. Officers rushed out of rooms. Holograms activated. Earth had just received a distress call from a dying world. And humans never ignored those in a command chamber shaped like a giant sphere. Admiral Riven stood in front of a massive holodisplay, the Orion message repeated on loop. Each time breaking, each time sounding more hopeless. The room was silent, heavy, waiting for his decision. He looked at the officers around him, their eyes burning with the same emotion. Anger, not at Orion, but at the galaxy that had abandoned it. Status, Riven said. Signal verified, replied Commander Yal. Origin confirmed planet Orion. Is the world still alive? Barely. How long? Maybe days. The silence grew colder. Admiral Riven exhaled slowly, then spoke the words humanity was known for. Prepare the Deathworlder fleet. Every officer snapped to attention. No hesitation, no delay. Humans did not wait for permission to save lives. Across Earth's orbit, giant hangars began to open. Massive battleships powered up like waking beasts. Engines roared, metal shook. AI systems came online. Cruisers, rescue ships, medical carriers, strike vessels, each one built for survival. Speed and sheer determination, soldiers ran to their stations. Engineers armed defensive grids, pilots warmed up thrusters. The air was filled with focused fire and cold purpose, while other species debated safety. Humans moved while the Council wrote reports. Humans armed themselves while the galaxy tried to forget Orion. Humans prepared to save it. A final alert rang across command. Fleet ready, Admiral Riven raised his hand. Calm but fierce. Set course for Orion, he said. His voice like thunder, and send a return message. What message? Sir, Riven turned toward the holodisplay of the burning world. Tell them this, he said. Orion is not alone now. The Deathworlders are coming. When the news spread that humanity had launched the Deathworlder fleet, the galaxy froze, not slowed, not paused, froze. Every government, every council, every leader felt the same chill run through their cores. Because when humans moved with speed, purpose, and anger, something big was coming. The Galactic Council held an emergency meeting inside the Crystal Hall, a giant chamber made of glowing silver walls. Representatives from many species sat around the circular table. Nervous, whispering, panicking. The Orion situation had been a small problem before. An easy problem, leave the planet, deny responsibility, move on. But this changed everything. The council speaker, a tall being of shifting light, struck the floor with his staff. The session begins, he announced, his voice trembling even though he tried to hide it. A dozen hands rose at once, each one demanding attention. They were not worried about Orion, they were worried about Earth. Why are the humans mobilizing? One delegate asked. They received the distress call, another replied. They intend to save Orion. Save, a reptilian ambassador hissed. Or occupy. Whispers grew sharper. Everyone in the galaxy respected humanity's ability to survive. But they also feared humanity's ability to change the balance of power. Humans did not wait for permission. Humans did not follow orders from the council. Humans acted, and then everyone else had to react. A cold silence filled the chamber when the Cathorian diplomat spoke. "They sent the Deathworlder fleet," she said. Her voice low. "Not a small rescue team. Not a medical ship. An entire fleet." The words were heavy like falling metal. Every delegate knew what that meant. The Deathworlder fleet was not a normal armada. It was humanity's most powerful force. A fleet designed by species who grew up on a death world, a world where storms destroyed cities, oceans swallowed islands, gravity crushed bones, and predators hunted humans for sport. This fleet was built by survivors for survivors. Where humans went with this fleet, things changed. The council speaker tried to calm the room. "We must open communications with Earth," he insisted. "Tell them to stand down." Many laughed in disbelief. "Stand down," a metallic envoy repeated. "Humans will not stand down. They believe we abandoned Orion. They believe we left people to die. And they are correct," another whispered. Ashamed, fear grew thicker with every passing minute. Because the question was no longer what will happen to Orion, the real question was, what will happen to the galaxy when humans arrive? Meanwhile, across dozens of star systems, people watched the news with wide eyes. Some were hopeful, some were scared. Some cheered for humanity, some prepared defenses. But everyone felt the same thing. Something massive had begun. The kind of event that changes history at the edge of the meeting hall. One quiet delegate finally spoke. His voice was soft, but his words struck harder than any alarm. "You all fear the humans," he said. "But you forget something important." Everyone turned. Waiting tense, he looked at the hologram of Orion. Burning in darkness, the humans did not launch their fleet to conquer, he said. They launched it because someone cried for help. A silence deeper than space filled the room. Because even the galaxy could not deny one truth. That when humanity heard someone calling for help, they answered, and they were coming now with the full power of a death world behind them. Aryan sky had been dark for many weeks. Smoke covered the sun, ash fell like dead snow. And the planet's surface shook again and again as the alien invaders dug themselves deeper into the land. The remaining survivors lived in silence, afraid to move, afraid to hope, afraid to breathe. The world felt like a grave waiting to close, but then the sky cracked open. A deep thunder rolled across Orion, a sound so vast and powerful that even the invaders paused, clouds twisted, lightning flashed, and the ground trembled as if the planet itself recognized something ancient, something dangerous, something human. A giant shadow appeared above the burning city. Then another, then hundreds. The Deathworlder fleet had arrived. The first ship to break through the atmosphere was the HSS Horizon Reborn, a massive spear-shaped vessel built with star-forged alloys, glowing with bright blue engines. Behind it came the Titan-class dreadnoughts, the Guardian carriers, and the heavy destroyers, each one carrying the flag of Earth. Shining through the smoke, the survivors looked up from their hiding places, tears filling their eyes for the first time in months. They felt hope, real hope, human hope. Commander Rhea Halder stood on the Horizon Reborn's command deck. Her eyes sharp and calm. "Deploy all units," she ordered. "No one on Orion dies today." Her voice carried the weight of a promise. A human promise. Across the sky, dropships shot down like streaks of silver fire. Each drop carried trained Deathworlder soldiers, humans who grew up on a planet filled with storms, earthquakes, beasts, and dangers that shaped them into unmatched fighters. They hit the ground with explosive force, forming shock waves that scattered the invading creatures. The alien attackers screamed, confused and terrified. They had been told Orion was abandoned. They had been told the galaxy didn't care. They had been told humanity wouldn't come. They were wrong. Human soldiers moved like living storms. Their armor absorbed fire. Their weapons cut through the darkness. Their formations were precise and fearless. Where they walked, hope followed, and the invaders fled in panic. A small group of Orion survivors watched as a team of human Marines cleared a street once filled with death. One child stepped forward, shaking. Are we saved?" he whispered. The lead Marine knelt, removing his helmet, showing a tired but warm smile. "You're safe now," he said. "We're here," above them. The fleet blocked out the stars. Dozens of ships held formation, each one prepared to protect the world at any cost. The sky, once black with smoke, now glowed blue with Earth's light. Commander Ray received a signal from the ground. "Human forces have established the first safe zone," her officer reported. She nodded, her voice steady. "Good," she said. "This is only the beginning," because the Deathworlders had not come only to fight. They had come to take back every inch of Orion, to protect the innocent, to punish the invaders, and to show the galaxy what happens when humanity chooses to stand with someone who is left to die. In the burning night of Orion, one truth echoed louder than war: humans had arrived. And everything was about to change. When dawn finally rose over Orion, it did not rise on a dead world. It rose on a world saved by humanity, a world that had been abandoned by the galaxy but protected by the Deathworlders. The fires were gone, the invaders crushed, and the survivors stood under a quiet sky for the first time in months. Commander Rehalder walked through the rebuilt safe zone with her helmet under her arm. Her boots stepping over broken metal and scorched earth, human engineers worked nonstop, repairing power lines, rebuilding water systems, and setting up medical stations for every injured Arionian. Human soldiers guarded every street. Scanning for threats, they were tired, bruised, and covered in dust, but they never stopped. The Orion Council gathered in the center square, their faces filled with gratitude and disbelief. One elder stepped forward and looked at Ray with shaking hands. "We thought we were forgotten," he said softly. "We thought the galaxy had decided we were not worth saving." Ray placed a hand over her chest and bowed her head. "Humanity doesn't abandon those who ask for help," she said. "Not ever," above them. The Deathworlder fleet remained in orbit like a shield of steel and fire. News drones from hundreds of species watched the scene from afar, broadcasting it across the galaxy. Every world, every government, every council saw the same thing: humanity standing beside a world the galaxy left to die. And the galaxy began to change. Some species felt shame. Some felt fear. Some felt respect. But everyone felt the impact inside the Crystal Hall. The Galactic Council watched in silence. No arguments, no excuses, no lies, just silence. Because the truth was simple. Humanity had done what the Council refused to do. They had saved a world. A small council member finally spoke, his voice trembling. "We cannot treat humans as we did before," he said. "They are not a minor race. They are not a side force. They are a power," another added. "A power with compassion. A power we should have been across the galaxy." Refugees whispered one sentence with new hope. "If the galaxy forgets us, maybe the humans won't." Back on Orion, celebrations filled the streets as survivors hugged the human soldiers who had protected them. Children carried small Earth flags, laughing for the first time in months. Mothers cried with relief, fathers bowed in respect, and Commander Ray watched them with a quiet smile. Her work was far from over, but hope was alive again. A young Orion girl approached her, holding a small glowing stone. "It is a gift," the girl said. "A symbol of our world." Ray gently accepted it. "We will protect it," she said. "And we will protect you." As the sun climbed higher, the Horizon Reborn sent a message across every star system. A message simple, clear, and powerful. "To every world in danger," the transmission said. You are not alone. If the galaxy leaves you behind, we won't. Humanity had changed Orion, but saving Orion changed the galaxy. Because now every species understood one new truth. If humanity decided to stand with you, you were never truly lost and never truly alone.